Jaylen Brown is in the middle of one of the most dominant stretches any Boston Celtics player has ever produced, and yet somehow, the basketball world is still failing to give him the respect he deserves. While fans across the league rush to vote for familiar names and flashy narratives, one of the NBA's most complete and consistent stars is being overlooked during a historic run that puts him alongside legends of the game. What Jaylen Brown is doing right now should not be ignored, minimized, or brushed aside as just another hot streak. This is greatness unfolding in real time, and the numbers, the impact, and the context all make that painfully clear. Brown recently dropped 37 points in a tough loss against the Portland Trail Blazers, marking his 9th consecutive game scoring at least 30 points. With that performance, he tied Larry Bird for the longest streak of 30-point games in Boston Celtics franchise history. Let that sink in for a moment. Larry Bird, one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball, a man whose name is synonymous with Celtics dominance, now shares that record with Jaylen Brown. This is not a coincidence. It is not a fluke. It is the result of growth, discipline, and a player reaching a new level of control over his game. To understand how impressive this run truly is, it helps to zoom out. Across the entire history of the NBA, the longest streak of 30-point games belongs to Wilt Chamberlain, who once scored 30 or more points in 65 consecutive games during the 1961-62 season. That number may never be touched again. But what Brown is doing does not need to reach Wilt's absurd standard to be extraordinary. In today's NBA, with constant defensive schemes, advanced scouting, and relentless physical demands, sustaining this level of scoring night after night is incredibly difficult. And yet, Brown is doing it while carrying a team that many people wrote off before the season even began. What makes the situation even more puzzling is the timing. Brown's historic scoring run happened during the first window of NBA All-Star fan voting. This was the moment when his name should have surged up the leaderboard, when highlight clips and box scores should have translated into recognition. Instead, when the first results were released, Brown barely cracked the top 6 vote-getters in the Eastern Conference. 6th, not top 5, not top 3. 6th, for a player averaging nearly 30 points per game, leading his team to wins, and anchoring a Celtics squad that sits near the top of the conference, that ranking feels less like an oversight and more like outright disrespect. There simply are not 6 players in the Eastern Conference who have been better than Jaylen Brown this season. That statement is not emotional, and it is not biased. It is supported by the numbers and by the eye test. Brown is currently 6th in the entire NBA in scoring, averaging just under 30 points per game. Among the top 10 scorers in the league, he owns one of the highest field goal percentages. He is not just putting up volume numbers, he is doing it efficiently under pressure and often against the opposing team's best defenders. Efficiency matters. Anyone can take a high number of shots on a struggling team and inflate their scoring totals. Brown is doing the opposite. He is scoring at an elite rate while helping his team win games. And that context matters even more when you consider the circumstances surrounding the Boston Celtics this season. Coming into the year, expectations around Boston were low by their usual standards. Jason Tatum went down with a devastating Achilles injury. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis were moved in cost-cutting trades. Al Horford and Luke Kornet departed in free agency. On paper, this looked like a transitional year at best and a potential collapse at worst. Many analysts predicted Boston would slide into the middle of the pack or even fall into the lottery conversation. Instead, the Celtics sit 3rd in the Eastern Conference with a strong winning record, competing with anyone on any given night. That does not happen by accident. It happens because Jaylen Brown has elevated not only his own game, but the level of everyone around him. His presence forces defenses to adjust. His scoring gravity opens opportunities for teammates. His defensive effort, often overlooked, sets the tone on the other end of the floor. When you compare Brown to other high-scoring players in the East, the gap becomes even clearer. Tyrese Maxey and Donovan Mitchell are the only 2 Eastern Conference players averaging more points than Brown, yet neither has impacted winning at the same level this season. Their teams hover around mediocrity, struggling for consistency. Meanwhile, Brown's Celtics continue to exceed expectations, stacking wins, and proving they belong among the conference's elite. Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham deserve credit for leading their teams to the top of the standings, but neither is scoring at Brown's level, nor carrying the same offensive burden night after night. Giannis Antetokounmpo, whose name sits above Brown in fan voting, has missed a significant portion of the season. He has been phenomenal when healthy, but availability matters. You cannot impact games you do not play, and Giannis has already missed nearly half of Milwaukee's games. Still, his global name recognition almost guarantees All-Star support regardless of circumstance, and that is where the real issue lies. All-Star voting has never been a pure reflection of performance. It is a popularity contest shaped by narratives, market size, and casual fan perception. Fans across the world vote for players they recognize, players whose highlights dominate social media, players whose names have become brands. Jaylen Brown, despite being a Finals MVP just 1 year ago, does not carry the same global recognition as some of his peers. Ironically, many casual fans know more about Brown's off-court talking points than about his on-court dominance. That disconnect speaks volumes about how narratives are formed and how easily true excellence can be overlooked. It also explains why players with underwhelming seasons can rank surprisingly high in fan voting, while a player delivering elite performances night after night struggles to gain traction. The good news for Brown is that fan voting is only part of the All-Star equation. Coaches and players will have their say, and when they do, it is hard to imagine Brown being ignored. Those who compete against him understand exactly how difficult he is to guard. They see the footwork, the strength, the patience, and the improved decision-making. They know that this version of Jaylen Brown is not just scoring, but controlling games. What makes this stretch even more impressive is where Brown is in his career. This is not a young player flashing potential. This is a veteran star making one of the most significant leaps of his career, more than a decade into professional basketball. That kind of growth is rare, especially in a league that places so much emphasis on youth and athleticism. Brown's evolution is built on understanding the game, reading defenses, and choosing the right moments to attack. He is no longer forcing offense. He is letting the game come to him, and when it is time to take over, he does so with ruthless efficiency. His ability to balance scoring within the flow of the offense while still delivering when the Celtics need him most is what separates good scorers from great players. The reality is simple. Jaylen Brown is playing like one of the best players in the NBA right now. His historic scoring streak, his efficiency, and his impact on winning demand recognition, regardless of fan voting results. Respect is earned on the court, and Brown has earned it every single night this season. As the season moves forward, the conversation will inevitably change. Records will be broken, narratives will shift, and recognition will follow. But for now, what matters most is that Jaylen Brown continues to do what he has always done. Work, improve, and let his game speak louder than any vote count ever could. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jaylen Brown's historic run and the bigger picture behind his lack of recognition, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth NBA analysis, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps keep these conversations going, and we will see you in the next video.